Admiral Zexithara stood before the holographic display of the Terran system, her crystalline carapace gleaming under the command deck's harsh lights. The Korthani Empire had conquered 17 stellar civilizations in the past century, each falling within solar cycles to their superior technology and overwhelming fleet numbers. Earth would be no different, or so she believed. Initiate long-range scans of the third planet, she commanded, her voice carrying the authority of 1,000 victories. I want a complete tactical assessment before we begin the bombardment. The sensor officer, a young Korthani with barely formed crystal ridges, hunched over his console. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion etched across his features. Admiral, the readings are unusual, elaborate. The planet shows signs of advanced civilization, but their technology appears primitive. No visible orbital defenses, no energy shields around their cities, no fleet formations in their outer system. He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. They have some kind of metal constructs orbiting their world, but they appear to be communication arrays rather than weapons platforms. Admiral Zexithara's compound eyes narrowed. In her experience, civilizations fell into two categories. The advanced ones that put up fierce resistance before inevitably succumbing, and the primitive ones that surrendered immediately upon seeing the Empire's might. Earth seemed to fit neither pattern. Perhaps they're hiding their defenses, she mused. Begin standard intimidation protocols. Open a channel to their leaders. Within moments, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human male in what appeared to be a simple blue suit, seated behind a wooden desk. Behind him, a flag bearing red, white, and blue colors hung motionless. Greetings, primitive beings, Admiral Zexithara began, her translator rendering her words into the local tongue. I am Admiral Zexithara of the Korthani Empire. Your world has been selected for conquest and integration into our domain. Surrender immediately, and your deaths will be swift. The human, later identified as UN Secretary General Marcus Chen, listened with remarkable composure. When she finished, he leaned back in his chair and smiled. It was not the expression of fear the Admiral expected. Admiral, Chen said calmly, I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. You see, we're not going to surrender. And more importantly, you've just declared war on a species that's been practicing warfare for over 5,000 years without pause. Before Zexithara could respond, Chen continued, in the time it's taken you to deliver your ultimatum, every nation on Earth has been alerted. Our military commanders are already implementing protocols we've spent decades perfecting. You see, we've always known we weren't alone in the universe. We've been preparing for this day since we first looked up at the stars. The Admiral's mandibles clacked in what passed for laughter among her species. Your primitive weapons cannot... She was interrupted by her tactical officer's alarmed cry. Admiral, multiple contacts rising from the planet's surface. Hundreds of them! On the tactical display, swarms of objects were launching from every continent. They moved with purpose and coordination that spoke of military precision. What are those? Zexithara demanded. Unknown projectiles, Admiral. They appear to be accelerating. Within minutes, the first wave reached the Korthani fleet. The Empire's shields, designed to deflect energy weapons and conventional explosives, proved utterly useless against kinetic projectiles moving at significant fractions of light speed. The humans had weaponized physics itself, but that was only the beginning. As the Admiral's flagship shuddered under impacts from tungsten rods accelerated to incredible velocities, her communications officer received an incoming message. Admiral, we're getting a transmission from the human military leader. The screen split to show a woman in military uniform, her gray hair pulled back severely, her eyes hard as steel. This is General Patricia Hayes, NATO Supreme Allied Commander. You have attacked Earth. This was a mistake. Your pathetic kinetic weapons cannot destroy our entire fleet, Zexithara snarled, even as explosions rocked her ship. General Hayes smiled coldly. Who said anything about destroying your fleet? We're going to capture it. You see, we've spent the last century not just preparing to defend Earth, but studying every science fiction story, every strategic scenario, every possible way an interstellar war could be fought. We've gamed this out thousands of times. As if on cue, new contacts appeared on the sensors. These weren't launched from Earth. They were emerging from the asteroid belt, from hidden bases on the moon, from positions throughout the solar system that had been prepared for decades. Humans have a saying, Admiral, Haze continued as Korthani ships began reporting boarding parties somehow materializing within their hulls. If you want peace, prepare for war. We've been preparing for this war since before your empire even knew we existed. The boarding parties were unlike anything the Korthani had encountered. These weren't uniformed soldiers following standard military doctrine. They were humans who had trained specifically for zero-gravity combat against alien species. They used the Empire's own advanced technology against them, having reverse-engineered captured probes that had visited the outer solar system years earlier. How? Zexithera gasped as her own ship's systems began failing around her. Another voice answered, a calm, analytical tone from someone identified as Dr. Sarah Kim, Director of Human Strategic Defense. We've been watching your empire for over 50 years, Admiral. Every species you conquered, every ship you built, every tactical doctrine you employed, we studied it all. We learned your strengths, identified your weaknesses, and prepared countermeasures for everything you could possibly throw at us. The truth was devastating in its simplicity. Humanity had spent millennia fighting itself, developing military strategies, weapons, and tactics across every conceivable environment. When they detected the first signs of the Korthani Empire, they hadn't panicked or tried to hide. Instead, they'd done what humans did best. They'd prepared for war. Every nuclear weapon that had once threatened to destroy humanity had been repurposed as system defense. Every military innovation, from ancient siege tactics to modern cyber warfare, had been adapted for space combat. Every video game, every science fiction movie, every strategic simulation had contributed to humanity's understanding of how such a war might be fought. The war is over. Admiral, General Hayes announced as Korthani ships throughout the system reported similar coordinated attacks. Your empire declared war on Earth at 1432 GMT. By 1447, your entire invasion fleet was neutralized. 15 minutes, Admiral. That's how long it took for Earth to defeat the mighty Korthani Empire. As Admiral Zexithera was led away in restraints, she heard Dr. Kim's voice one final time. We'll be studying your technology now, just like we studied your tactics. And, Admiral, we'll be ready for whoever comes next. The galaxy would learn a new truth that day. When a species spends its entire evolutionary history in constant warfare, peace doesn't make them soft. It gives them time to prepare for the real war, the one among the stars. Earth had declared victory before the first shot was fired. The Korthani Empire had simply been too arrogant to realize they were already defeated.